Hello, kidney warriors. James here from Dadvice TV, your online kidney health coach. And this is Dadvice TV Live. Welcome to everyone who's new. Great to have you here. So excited seeing all the new people and people from Australia and all that while we were doing the countdown. Now, for those of you that are new, my name's James. I was diagnosed just a little over 2 years ago with stage 5 kidney failure, where I spent about a week in the ICU, and things weren't looking too good. The outlook was dialysis and a transplant. But what I did, something we're going to talk about tonight, is I set some goals. Now, I didn't set really achievable goals. I set some major stretch goals. I told the doctors, you know what? I'm going to get better. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to work on my blood pressure, my blood sugar. I'm pre-diabetic. I want to take care of that. And I did all that and improved my overall health, which gave me the benefit of improving my kidney health by reducing the burden I was placing on my kidneys. I'm no longer stage 5. As a matter of fact, I'm not even stage 4. I'm now classified as stage 3. But more importantly, because I really don't care about those stages, they really don't mean much. More importantly, I have tons of energy. I feel great. And my kidneys are not stopping me from doing the things I want. Now, today with us, it's Tuesday. So you know who's here with us? A renal dietitian, the most important person in my journey from stage 5 to kidney great. A renal dietitian. We have with us Jen Hernandez. Hey, Jen, how you doing?
Hi, James. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas with your family.
Oh, yes, we had a great stay-at-home Christmas.
Yeah, that's great. So it's nice to be safe and just be home with your family. And, it's this year, hopefully only. So that's
Yep.
really good to hear.
Now, for those
So
that are new,
for
tell them what a
those,
renal dietitian is and about plant-powered kidneys.
Yes, so my name is Jen. I am a renal dietitian. That means I'm a registered dietitian and also board certified in renal nutrition. So that is my focus. That is my thing. It's what I do. It's what I've done for the majority of my dietitian career so far. I have worked with a lot of people in dialysis and also in earlier stages of kidney disease. That is what my private practice, Plant Powered Kidneys, is all about, is earlier stages of kidney disease, keeping your kidneys as healthy as possible for as long as possible. I've been doing this for a few years now, and we've been growing a really great community on Facebook in our free Facebook group. You can find us, just search Plant Powered Kidneys. You can join a wonderful group of plant-based kidney warriors of all stages, all ranges, all different definitions of what plant-based means to them, which is really important because everybody is different. Everybody with kidney disease is different. Just like James said, the stage, not the biggest focus. The biggest focus is on you and how you're feeling and what all is going on in your body, not just your kidneys, but every single part of you. So that is what I do for my career and my love of work. I love being here. I love helping all of you. And I do have a very, very special announcement that I would love to tell you all about right now. Some of you probably already know if you get emails from me that our Plant Powered Kidneys online course is officially reopened for enrollment.
Woohoo!
And yes, I am so excited. I was working on updating some videos today, made the special announcement to those on our wait list. So when the enrollment is only open a few times a year, this is a live group. We have weekly Q&A sessions coming up through January into February. And we are going to just have a really great, successful time, a great way to start off the new year, as we're talking about tonight. But if you are interested, you can go to plantpoweredkidneys.com/course and be directed to learn more about the course, learn more about it. It is, oh, I see Joyce has signed up. That is so exciting, Joyce. I'm really, really happy to have you in there with us. Once you sign up as a student of Plant Powered Kidneys, you're in for life. So this is not something that you're only in it for 6 weeks and you're done. I am going to be harassing you until you tell me to stop, basically. You're going to get tons of information, content, weekly live Q&As where you can ask me more about nutrition, kidney health. We don't do individual lab discussions. That's for one-on-one work with yourself and a dietitian. But I teach 6 fundamental topics about kidney health and kidney nutrition. And a lot of our students have had really, really great results. So every time I reopen the course and we do it again, I am just so excited knowing what's to come for people going through the program. It's been absolutely inspiring.
Yep. And I've seen the comments from people who have done it. It gives them the tools they need from a renal dietitian without all the time and effort needed to find a renal dietitian they can work with.
Yes.
And best of all, this isn't just open to people in the United States, correct?
Correct. This is the way that I can help people internationally. So for my one-on-one private work, which is still full right now, I only have so many hours in the day. I can only work with so many people, but I do have the course open for anybody in the US and outside of the US. So it is available internationally. And even if you can't make our live Q&A sessions, the recordings will still be available to you. There are still community discussions that happen in the group. So this is still something that you can be a part of regardless of your time zone. And I'm telling you guys, this is my baby. This is so much work. It has been put into creating this for you that I really want you all to have a solid resource. I want you to walk into your nephrologist's office and really feel confident and know what you're talking about and be able to ask the right kind of questions and just to feel better and more confident about everything you're doing. Because I know a lot of you spend hours and hours asking Dr. Google, which we know does not get us too far, and it can get you
Dr.
far,
Google
but
and
over
Dr.
a lot
Facebook are
of
not
time.
good doctors.
Oh yeah, Dr. Facebook. Can't forget about him or her. We don't know.
Yeah. And from conversations with Dr. Rosansky, Dr. Butt, they love it when patients come in asking questions, knowing what questions to ask, and better understanding that conversation they have. Because one of the biggest challenges I find between patients and their doctors is getting common language. The doctors, they've read these books, they've learned these giant Greek and Latin words that they're using, and they just fly right over our heads a lot. And we do the nodding, and we leave, and we maybe did not get enough information. And knowledge truly is power when it comes to living with kidney disease and improving your quality of life, which is the single most important thing to me. Getting that quality of life up there so your kidneys are not holding you back.
Absolutely. And I will add one quick more thing. There is a special limited time bonus that I'm offering all new students that are enrolling in this first 24 hours. So the enrollment's open today. If you enroll in this first 24 hours, you will be invited to a private cooking demo hosted by yours truly. Ooh. And I'm going to give you a bonus recipe and basically show you what I'm doing when I'm making it. And I'll give you a lot of tips with cooking during that cooking demo. So that's an extra bonus for you if you are a go-getter and you're ready to jump in.
And for those that haven't seen your cooking demos, they're not just you saying, hey, here's the recipe, download it, go do it. You're actually making it right there on camera so they see how long it takes. You're still amazing at chopping stuff. That knife just goes so fast. I'm like the slowest person, just cutting and the sides are all over the place. But it is great getting to watch someone actually make the meals and talk about, hey, here's why we're doing this. Here's why we're putting a little garlic in. You could substitute with X and this and that. That right there is my way of learning. Watching someone, seeing it in real time. So that is an awesome bonus for those that are looking to join this right now and kind of take more control of their life. Push kidney disease to second place. Don't make it the number one thing controlling your life. Make it you controlling your life. You just happen to have kidney disease and you make decisions so that it doesn't get in control.
Absolutely.
And now Liz is asking, or Lizette is asking, how can she join the course? It's plantpoweredkidneys.com. Is it right
/
there on the website?
course. It's on the
course.
website.
There we go.
If you go to, I can't even keep up with my own website, even though I'm the one who does all of it.
I'm going there right now to see if it's on the. Oh yeah,
/ course.
Huge giant banner across the top of the page.
Right on the top. Yes.
The Plant Powered Kidneys course officially open. You can click right on the Plant Powered Kidneys course and takes you right to the page. That is awesome. So for all of you out there that have been wondering, how do I get a renal dietitian? I can't find one I like. There's not one that's in my area, or maybe you're not in the United States. You're like, oh, I really want to work with Jen. This is a great opportunity for you.
Yeah. And this is something that you can take with a private dietitian. So if you can't find a renal dietitian, if you can't find somebody that's focused on renal, but you say, I know a dietitian, I have one in my insurance network, they just don't focus on the kidney side. Well, what you can do is you can take the information that you learn from the course, and you, just like talking to your nephrologist, you can talk to your dietitian. What about this? What about this? What about this? I provide you with the information, the resources, the research papers that the dietitians will absolutely eat up. And you, again, are going to be coming to the table with your healthcare team as more of an equal, feeling more confident in bringing that kidney conversation up. So I think this is great for people who want to work with a dietitian privately, which I still think is the absolute best way to go. But again, if you can't find somebody who really focuses on renal, you can bring that information to them and say, hey, I have this resource and here's some information I learned. So let's talk about this.
Yep. Now let's get on to today's topic, because it is that time of year. It's the end of the year. It's kind of the normal habit to make new goals with the new year, though you don't have to wait till the new year to make goals. It's something we kind of all like to do. We say, hey, here's my New Year's resolution. Here's what I'm going to do for 2021. Matter of fact, I've been sitting through the last few weeks kind of planning, what do I want Dadvice TV to be through 2021. You guys seeing the new colors, the new patterns. You guys saw the new opening.
Yeah, that was great.
I can't wait to get my vaccine so I can start hitting the road, taking Dadvice TV out to places, to people, to kidney walks and all that again. Oh, so excited. Yeah. But for the rest of us, we're here to talk about setting kidney smart goals. And smart is actually all capitals. It's not smart as in, it is smart as in being smart, but smart actually stands for something in this. What does it mean to be kidney smart when setting a goal?
So when we talk about being kidney smart, it's really about educating yourself on why it's important to keep your kidneys healthy. And you want to focus on how to do that, what the process is of it, because by being kidney smart, by focusing on your kidney health, you are going to absolutely make huge changes in your kidney health, so long as you focus on that with your SMART goals, which is part of this process of becoming kidney smart, is setting SMART goals for your kidneys.
Now, there are classes, which I did not know about. I learned something with every single show. A lot of people think, oh, James, you know so much. No, I'm riding along with you guys, learning in every one of these shows. And I was reading the show notes that Jen prepared, and there's some classes available for Kidney Smart. Can you tell us about these classes?
Yeah, so there is a Kidney Smart class that comes up with DaVita. And I used to work for DaVita. I told you guys I've worked in dialysis, and that is where I started my dialysis jobs, was with DaVita. So they have these Kidney Smart classes that teach you some of the basics of kidney nutrition. They are often used to help you learn more about the dialysis process, about the options or different modalities for dialysis. And then talking about some of oftentimes the diet, still mostly related to the dialysis side of things, but they do try to focus on the different ranges of kidney health. So if you look up Kidney Smart, you might find some of those Kidney Smart classes, and those are what DaVita holds.
And are those classes, from what I've seen, a lot of them are available online at no cost or in locations at no cost. Is this one of those ones that's no cost, you know?
I they had been free. I don't know if they're paid anymore. I think they might be paid at this point, but there could be different tiers. When I was working with them okay, you guys know I don't keep track of dates or times. So when I say a few years, it could be any amount of time, but I'm thinking like a few years ago when I worked with them, it was free at that time. And it was something that the nephrology offices would refer their patients to once they felt like dialysis is in your near future, you should go to this class. So the Kidney Smart classes for them, again, it's not really a preventive class. It was more so a preparation class for dialysis, which makes sense because usually it would be a dialysis nurse, sometimes the dietitian, but usually a dialysis nurse that would run the class and teach the class. So they were teaching the different types of dialysis modalities and everything. So I think it used to be free. I think they're paid at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, but they do have a lot of other stuff. For those of you that have not looked at DaVita's website, or I always butcher this other one, Fresenius? Yeah, their website, lots of great information, great tools, a lot of little downloads you can grab there to help you, because education is really important, even if you're not ready for dialysis, or you're like me, you hope to never get to dialysis. There's still a lot of information there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about these SMART goals, SMART, it stands for something. What does SMART stand for?
So SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So we'll go into each of these steps in a little bit more detail, because this is essentially your checklist for how you determine if your kidney goal is a Kidney Smart goal.
All right, so let's jump into specific. How do I make sure it is a specific goal?
So to be specific, we want to make sure that you have the goal really drilled down. And I know the very first thing that comes to mind with many clients, a lot of people I talk to, well, what's your goal? Well, it's to make my kidneys healthier. Is that specific? No, not really. How do we know what that means? Is saying another one I hear all the time, I want to improve my GFR. Well, it's specific, but we can't just sit here and be like, okay, GFR, go.
Yep.
Like that just doesn't happen. That's more of the outcome, not necessarily related to the goal of itself. So when we look at specifics, you want to answer the questions who, what, where, why. Think of those questions that we used to learn about when we were in school about writing a story or doing a research paper, that kind of thing. Those are the kind of questions you want to answer when it comes down to being specific. And really, it needs to get down to essentially what it always comes down to is an action. What is that action that you're going to take that will set you up for that desired outcome? Improved kidney health, better GFR. Again, these are all things at the end of the tunnel, but we're looking at getting into the tunnel. We got to figure that part out first.
So would specific goals be things such as, I want to keep my phosphorus within range. I want to keep my blood pressure under control. Would those be specific?
That's getting more specific. Absolutely. When you're finding something in particular that you can look at, because it kind of segues into the next part, which is
Hmm.
measurable. This is something that we want to make sure we can track. And yes, you can track your GFR, but this is still something I tell my clients too. The GFR is the outcome. This is something down the road. We need to look at the micro steps. We need to look at the things that are more intricate. So that phosphorus example,
Hmm.
that's a little bit more concrete. I really like the blood pressure one because that's something that you have the power to measure all the time,
Yes.
whenever you want. And I think that makes a much bigger difference. When we think of measurable, I like to think of what can you measure, not necessarily the labs, because even though you can get your labs, monthly, maybe not during COVID, but
Yeah,
most
still
sometimes
not very
monthly.
often. You just
Exactly,
gave me
three
a
months.
flashback to the one thing I hate to measure that I can measure. You guys know what it is. Besides blood pressure, which I keep a good eye on my blood pressure, that dang scale. There's another that could be a specific uh,
Yes.
goal, lose X number of pounds in the next 12 months. As a matter of fact, my
Yeah.
doctor gave me, he doesn't watch these videos, my primary care physician, uh, but we did a virtual call and I found a way to fudge my scale number a little bit so that the conversation would be a little shorter on the phone, but he still gave me a specific goal of losing a certain amount of weight within a certain amount of time.
Oh man, that sounds like a lot of pressure.
Yeah, well, I need to do it. I know I need to do it for my overall health, for my heart. It's something I have to do. And during COVID, I've just have not been very active. Um,
Hmm.
there are days where I'm working, just sitting here at my desk, and I'll get up and I'll walk a little bit. At the end of the day, I'll look. I've barely done 2,000 steps. I'm like, holy cow. I was up to
Yeah.
14, 15,000 on some days. Now it's like, how do I get back to that? So I'm going to work on that. That's one of my goals.
Yeah. Well, I think another thing too with this measurable, and this kind of really plays in line with that, the idea of the weight loss. To me, the weight loss is still a bit more kind of like GFR, that
Hmm.
it's still a little bit intangible. And when we think about the action, so again, what kind of action are you going to do to get to that result? So
Yeah.
I have clients that want to lose weight or gain weight. It's very common that people with CKD want to gain weight as well. Whatever the case is, what is that thing that you're going to do? What are you going to do? Where are you going to do it? When are you going to do it in order to see that kind of result? So it's a really great thing to practice as you're talking through this idea with yourself about what your goal is. Think, okay, is this something that I can do, or is this the outcome I want to achieve at the end of it or during the process? And that will help you really figure out where it falls in line of the idea of a SMART goal or more of the results driven outcome.
Yep. So we covered um, that it is specific and it's measurable. And I like blood pressure because that one
Mm-hmm.
is a really easy one that's specific and measurable. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely understand that the weight loss is the end results. I want to lose the weight. How do I get there? That's important. I
Right.
got to keep remembering that. Next
Right.
is attainable. What is
Yes.
attainable?
Well, okay. Attainable means that you want to make sure that this is a realistic goal, that you know that this is something that you can do and that makes sense and is healthy and good for you. Uh, have we talked about The Office? I love referencing The Office. That
Oh,
is
I
one of my
love The
favorite TV shows.
Office.
So there was the weight loss challenge episode. Do you remember that one? They
I
all
don't
got on the really
remember
big
that.
scale. So they all got on the really big scale, and it was a company wide weight loss challenge, and they weren't reaching their goals. They didn't make SMART goals. They didn't reach their goals, and then they were going around saying, "Okay, we got to bump it up. What are we going to do?" And Jim said, "I'm going to lose 50 pounds," and he said it as a joke
He's so
because he's
thin.
already at. Exactly. He's a toothpick.
Yeah.
He would look really, really malnourished if he lost that. So Jim's goal was not a smart goal and it was not attainable because for him to lose 50 pounds would not make sense. So when it comes to setting this goal, as you're going through this checklist, this process, think to yourself, is this something that I really feel comfortable reaching? Something I ask my clients a lot when they're setting goals. We oftentimes, most every time, we try to set a goal for them to work on. And I'll say, like, how do you feel? Scale of 1 to 10. Are you feeling like 10, like you've got this, you're going to knock it out of the park? Or are you like a 4, where you're like, this is going to be really hard. I don't know if I can do this. Because if you're feeling like it's going to be a really, really big challenge, don't be afraid to pull back and to make it a little bit less of a strict idea, routine, whatever it is, because the outcome is for you to achieve your goal. And if you don't feel like it's attainable, then it's just not going to set you up for success. And in the end, when we don't reach our goals, we really don't feel good about the whole process. And that puts us
Yeah.
into this cycle of not caring, or whatever you want to call that kind of cycle. But that's what we want to prevent. So I want your goals to be attainable. I want you to feel really good and like, I can do this. Like, I got to put a little bit of work into it, but I can do this.
Yeah, I actually thrive on the little micro success. So I like to set, and I do this great at work. In my personal life, I always set stretch goals, but I like to set a lot of little goals. Like, hey, here's where I want to get to. Let me break that up into even smaller chunks. And then the success at each step helps motivate me to go to the next one, the next one, the next one. And then all of a sudden I'm there where I want to be.
Yeah. So, and another way to think of it is like, if you ever hear like the snowball effect, I know a lot of people use it for like the debt process, clearing out your debt, take care of the smallest one first, and then it starts giving you that momentum. It's the same thing for this kind of goal setting. Set up something small that you can achieve it, and you feel really good going into the next goal. And then you can achieve that. And then you feel really good going into the next goal. And it just really creates this snowball effect of your motivation and you achieving your goals.
Now, the R in SMART is relevant. What does
Yes.
relevant mean?
So we want to make sure that the goal that you set really makes sense in your big picture goal and that it aligns with everything else. Because if it doesn't fit into your life, if it doesn't fit into your overall goals, or your outcomes that you want, then it's going to become a barrier. You're going to get down to this fork in the road where you have to decide, oh, am I going to do this or am I going to do this? Because going down this road is going to get me to my goal. Going down this road is going to get me towards whatever else it is. So, for example, if somebody says that they want to focus on, they want to focus on oh man, I'm trying to think of one coming right off the bat. I'm thinking of some general idea ones of focusing on more time for themselves of self-improvement, but then they also have this nagging feeling of, I've got to spend more time with my family. So there's this pull between going towards your goal. Let's say it's more meal prep and focusing on more cooking in the kitchen. So it pulls you away from your family because you're doing more of this meal prep work and this kitchen work. And then you start feeling guilty because you're away from your family, and then you're with your family. And then you're like, I'm not reaching my goal because I wanted to meal prep. So you want to make sure that it makes sense fitting into your life and that everything really can be cohesive. Again, it helps it fall in place of feeling like a goal that will make sense for your life and that you can continue throughout your life. Because any kind of habit that you're setting, this is going to be something that ideally you continue on indefinitely. This is not a temporary thing. This is a permanent change.
Yeah, it kind of becomes a habit after a while and much easier.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you, it's easy to fall off those habits. When I was first diagnosed, I completely changed my diet. I was so good at sticking with it. But the last year, I give into temptation far too often. And I think, just a little bit, a little this. Oh, I don't need to get, it's too cold outside. I don't need to go for a walk right now. Part of the temptation is those excuses that I allow to get in the way of some of my good habits. And I do it too often that I've kind of broken some of those habits. There was a time when I would have looked at something and said, no, too much sugar. I'm not even going to touch it. Oh, not even going to try that. Now I'm like, oh, I feel great. I'm very comfortable. Let me try a little.
Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta remember what my goals are and keep making those better choices. Now the T in SMART is time bound, and that is probably one of the more important ones, besides setting realistic ones and how you're going to measure them. Having a time that you're going to achieve that also is realistic. What can you say about the time bound part of this?
I love this because it really gives you this bookend. It gives you this way because you're going to need to stop and evaluate how the process has been. So by setting up a realistic time for yourself, that will allow you to reevaluate how the process has been and if the habit that you're working on creating, if it's going to be able to continue and if it's working. If it's not working, it's time to reset and do something else. So you really want to think of setting up a time frame. It can be whatever time frame you want. Oftentimes when I talk with clients, we're talking about a week, 2 weeks, a month at the longest. Again, we're not talking about improving GFR. Yes, that's in the back of our minds, and we're thinking about that as the ultimate dream, but really we're talking about the habits that we're changing that will ideally lead to that in the future. So no more than a month later, what is it? What are we going to reconnect and talk about that you're going to say, you know what, Jen, I knocked it out of the park. I did this and I feel really great. Or some things came up and COVID happened and we need to reevaluate what the plan is because I'm not going to reach my goal this way. So you want to set a timeline and a deadline to tell yourself at this point, this is when it doesn't even need to be meet a certain number, a certain goal. It could just be think of it as like a pause for an evaluation. Is this going the way I want it to go? But setting that time is great.
Yeah. Now you mentioned a few words. We're talking about goals, and you also mentioned plan. What is the difference between goals and plan?
Yeah, I think people definitely get these confused, and it kind of goes in line with the whole idea of a goal of improved EGFR, something like that. So with a goal, this is the result that you want to go towards. This is think of it, that finish line at the end down there. This is the objective that you have. Whereas the plan is the process. The plan is what is that path that you're going to take to get you to that finish line. So there's two parts, but they really go hand in hand because the plan will outline how you get to the goal, and the goal is going to help you set up what needs to be in your plan.
Awesome. So can you give us some examples of what goals are, or like a goal and maybe a plan on how we might achieve that goal?
Yes, I am always a big fan of examples, especially talking about some of these things that are intangible, really. And I actually pulled some of the examples that some of my clients have given me during our work together. So one example we talked about was phosphorus, and the goal was I've got to get my phosphorus down. So, okay, that's great. Not the plan, that's the outcome, that's the goal, but what are we going to do? What action are we going to take? So one client said, I will read all the labels in my pantry and remove anything that includes phosphate additives.
Well,
That was the plan. Very specific, right? So when you think about that process, you can imagine, you can envision that happening. If you set that for yourself, okay, I'm going to go in my pantry, I'm going to read all my labels, and I'm going to get rid of anything that has phosphate additives in there. It's very easily specific. It's measurable because you have the number of boxes, the number of things in your pantry. You have a set space of where you're going to be doing this. Hopefully it is going to be attainable because, again, this is something that you're setting, and this is the example that my client set that did reach that. It's relevant because we know that good phosphorus will help your kidney health and your heart and your bone and your brain, all this kind of stuff. But we know that good phosphorus health means good kidney health. So we know it's still relevant to the big picture goal. And it's time bound because I didn't put it in this example here per se, but they had the deadline of accomplishing this in the next 2 weeks. So you should.
And that's very realistic. They can make it through their pantry in 2 weeks, look at the labels, and pull out anything that contains those phosphorus additives, which we absorb 100%.
Yes, exactly. And yes, when you do set your goal, you should write out that time too. It helps, pen to paper. It really, really helps your brain click and connect with the action that you're about to do. So whatever goal you're setting, I really encourage you to write it down pen to paper, not keyboard, not tablet, not smartphone or texting. Put it pen to paper, write it down, and it will help lock it in for your brain. So that is one example. Another one I have is another one about phosphorus, and it is about a person who was having a challenge taking their binders, their phosphorus binders. So if your phosphorus is high, your doctor may prescribe you phosphorus binders, and you have to take them as prescribed. Generally, it's every time you eat. So they were having a hard time taking it at every meal. So they said, okay, in order to take my binders as I'm supposed to, I'm going to move my binders to the kitchen counter where I cook and prepare my meals. So that way it would be in a visual, physical location right in front of them. And they know that and that was an action that they could accomplish. It's time bound, as in, well, again, I should put it on, I should have rewritten it in the timeline that we set it, but they said, I'm going to do this right after our call. So literally they did it. And then they just texted me afterwards and said, it's done. And they sent me a picture. Good. Awesome.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, and that's great. And for me, I kind of do something similar with my blood pressure medicine. Besides I use a free app called Round, as in a round ball, to remind me. It reminds me on my watch. I also, every morning I walk in the kitchen, I have a cabinet that's mine. I open it at the very bottom. There's all my pills. It's a shame. There's so many of them. But it requires them for my blood pressure. And I take them and I start on one side. And I even have a whole process. First I take the evening pills. They're marked with an E on the top, and I set them on the counter so I don't touch them. Then I grab each pill and I take the pill before I set the bottle down on the counter. That helps me to not get lost on which ones I have taken and have not taken. So I don't double take or skip something. And also, my wife and kids know, don't talk to Dad when he's taking his pills. Because about once a month, someone will talk to me and I lose track, and I'm like, did I just take this one? And it may be there's one where I got to take 3 of them in the morning. And I get a 3-month supply when I refill, a 90-day supply. So there's like 270 in a brand new bottle. So I have to count to figure, did I just take these 3 or not? And I hate doing that. But I have this process, and I kind of move them all down, but they're right there before I can get to, my breakfast stuff, like my oats and things like that are all behind my medication, so that I will never forget it. It's always right there in the morning. And I've kind of gotten really in that great habit of taking my medication, and I have not missed a single dose of anything now in about a little over 2 years now, which is great. Before, if I wasn't feeling good, like if I was feeling sick, which was normal when your kidneys are getting really bad, I sometimes be like, I just don't feel like taking the medication. I know it's going to come right back up, so I'm not going to take it. But yeah, so I've kind of made part of my plan was, how can I make sure I take these? My goal was to always take my pills every morning and then every evening. And then I made a plan on how to do it. And that's really worked really well for me.
That's great. And that just shows that it was a really good plan set, that you were able to achieve it. You have all of these new habits in line for that process. And now it's like clockwork for you. And that's the sign that you've accomplished that task, that plan, that goal, and you can move on to the next one.
Yep. And then I have my plan, if I get interrupted and I don't
Yes.
know. It's called counting. A lot of
Plan B,
counting.
counting.
It's much easier when it's like one of the ones I only take one of a day to count those. But if it's early in my prescription, there's that one big bottle with 3 of them. Oh, I hate counting that one. Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried weighing them. They're too small. They weigh too little. So I can't just weigh it and go like, yeah, I took my 3. I can see it. Now, can you give us another example? You know, a lot of us talked about weight loss, and there were a lot of comments. That's something I know a lot of people do need to gain weight, but I am very much in that need to lose weight category. What's an example of smart goals for weight loss?
So this is something that is really, really common, and not just for kidney problems, but for a lot of people setting goals for weight loss or improved health. So this comes down to, again, being really specific in what you want that habit to be. Again, the weight loss is the outcome that you can achieve, but the plan that what we need to figure out is going to be the real fundamental part that we need to determine. So one of my clients decided that they wanted to focus on more plant-based eating. So they set the goal to help with their weight loss by doing plant-based home-cooked meals 5 times a week for 4 weeks. They said, as long as I do my plant-based cooking at home for 5 weeks for the dinners, then I will feel really good. So getting really, really nitty gritty down to what meal it is. And it's a great practice as you're writing out this goal. Again, visualize it. How is that going to look in your real life? Don't imagine a perfect bubble world where no one's going to interrupt you and nothing is going to get in the way. Think of real life. What is going to fit in that environment that you know that you can handle? So I will tell you, my husband, he doesn't watch the show, so I can talk about him. So one of his
That's like my wife. She doesn't watch the show. I could talk about her.
So one of his goals for the new year is to eat a more plant-based diet. And I was talking with him about it today, and I said, okay, well, what is that going to look like for you? And he said, well, it's going to be really hard. I've got work and we've got other obligations, and it's just, I don't know if I have the time. So I said, okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Where do you think is the easiest place to get started? Again, just setting that first. You guys, I was kind of counseling my husband. He didn't know it, but I was. So I asked him, I said, what is going to be the easiest way for you to break into this? And again, get that snowball effect. And we were thinking, okay, well, breakfast is pretty easy.
Oh,
he likes
that's oatmeal. What I was thinking. Breakfast, you're at home.
Yeah, you're at home. So the beginning of the day, you don't have a lot of interruptions to start your day. And we talked about all the different recipes, all the different foods that he likes for breakfast that are plant-based. So we talked about that. And then he started feeling like, well, that's too easy. And I was like, that's how you do it. Mm-hmm. You set up a goal that just feels so natural that you're like, this can't be it, right? Because no, that's not the whole process. But it's the first step in this whole plan, in the long-term goal. Mm-hmm. So once you find a goal like that, where you're thinking, there's gotta be more than this. It can't be this easy. That's the key. That's where you start. Because if you can do that, then you set that timeline, you set that deadline, and you evaluate how it went, and you're going to feel that much more empowered to do a bigger goal and to tackle maybe lunch or to tackle dinner or to tackle going out to eat and finding plant-based options going out. Whatever the case is, it's going to really help strengthen your motivation and your drive to get to that long-term result. So I had a client that we worked together for 3 months, and that was a big part of her goal, was to go plant-based. And she set that goal. She ended up losing nearly 30 pounds. Wow. 30 pounds in that time by making the goal or making the transition over to plant-based. So I know it's possible. I know that people can do it. It's just a matter of getting going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, you just got to stick with it. I love eating plant-based, and I now enjoy the cooking, the prepping, and all that. I just kind of I allow the laziness for me get in the way. It's like the kids ordered pizza. I'll have a slice instead of making some stir fry or something like that. And those little things add up.
Yeah, it does. It really is all about a lot of these choices, and something that might help in that motivation. Again, something that I have taught my clients. Have you ever heard the term eat the frog?
No, it doesn't
So,
sound good.
no, it's not, but it is, and I'm not talking literally at all, but it is the term of just do it and get it done. Eat the frog is it's this idea, and it can be applied to really any situation in life. It's like if you're going to sit here and think about it and be like, oh, I don't know, just do it. Just eat the frog, get it over with. And
My
it is a
dad has a
phrase.
different word or a different phrase. Blank or get off the pot.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, I like the frog one because I can tell my clients that they can write it on a post-it note and put it around their house. I don't feel like that phrase you could put around your house and at least
No, not with
have
kids.
company
Either.
over.
I don't want my kids repeating that at some neighbor's house.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really this idea, and it's another those post-it notes, putting your goal on a post-it note, sticking it somewhere visually, whether it's in the kitchen, bathroom mirror, your door. Put it somewhere that you can see it. And that's another great way to remind yourself of your plan and your goal, what it is you're going to be doing. And then if it's a SMART goal, in that process of getting to it. So anytime you can put pen to paper and put it out and about for you to see, serves as a great reminder.
Yep. Awesome. So we're getting close to the top of the hour, and I want to kind of go a little bit off topic, but it is related because people are going to be setting goals. Eating better for your kidneys is going to be, or should be, hopefully, a very popular goal for our audience. Losing weight, being healthier. For those that are new, we have a lot of new people today. They're wondering, what should they be eating? What is a good, okay, I'm now going to eat better for my kidneys. What does that look like? Because they go online and there's just so many different diets out there, and there's all these Facebook groups with guys. Let me tell you, some of the most bizarre diets that there is no science behind, that they're all out there. Talking to a professional, a renal dietitian, what does eating right for my kidneys look like in this new year? Because I want to make that a goal for me.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I thought we should bring it up now, because again, when we talk about a SMART goal, it needs to be specific. And I know I can hear it. I can hear it from people that they're thinking, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to eat better for my kidneys. I'm going to make my kidneys better by eating better. Well, what does that mean? You've got to find those specifics. So there's things that we can do for better kidney health, like eating more fiber, which is so, so important for our kidney health, finding ways to incorporate more fiber. So your goal could be something like eating a certain amount of fiber for the day. The minimum in general is 25 grams per day. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be tough for people that don't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables or whole grains to get that fiber in. So setting a goal like that is going to be something that's still moving the needle towards eating better, feeling better, and happy kidneys. So fiber is one. You can also focus, let's say, on your snacks. We did just not too long ago, we did a whole talk about low sodium snacks. So you could set a goal of, I am going to change my snack to X, Y, and Z, and have some low sodium snack options as your go-tos. Again, it's about finding this specific idea, the specific plan in place that still gets you towards that big picture goal. And then the other one is drinking a lot of water, which you're doing. So make sure you're staying hydrated. And if you have a fluid restriction, make sure you have that really cleared with your doctor and you understand the process, you understand why, you understand how much water you should be having, because that is going to help you a lot. Drinking more water when you have a fluid restriction is not the answer. That is going to just give you a lot of pain and in your poor heart. So just be sure to take care of the amount of fluid you should be drinking and set a goal for your appropriate hydration. That could be another really great way to have a healthy diet for your kidney health.
Now, I know a lot of people, when they start a diet, not thinking of kidney or renal diets, but a lot of people, when they start a diet, they kind of, in my opinion, they seem to go extreme and they start with like a cleanse. I'm going to do this kidney cleanse or this body cleanse, whoosh, out all the toxins or something. There's some belief they have around it. And they start off with one of those. Is that something a kidney patient should look at, doing a cleanse to get the new year started?
No, I think it is that magic bullet idea that if we just do this and that's going to jumpstart everything. And it's really not the case here. It is not the case. And between you and me, a lot of those kind of jumpstart things, it's just water weight. Anything, and I'm kind of still on the mindset of the weight loss because that's a big thing, is doing some kind of cleanse to just drop a lot of weight. You're just dehydrating your body, and your body is literally removing all of the water, all of the H2O from your body as it's burning through the energy you have. And then as soon as you put it back in, you gain that weight right back. So it is really not necessary. And you guys know we did a whole other episode, a really deep episode about kidney cleanses and what you have to pay attention to. So you can check that out. You can check out the article that I have on my website about the kidney cleanse, but it's just not really the go-to answer in this case, New Year's or not.
Yeah, and I know a lot of you out there are rather new to being diagnosed with kidney disease, and you have that hope. You go online, you go on YouTube. There's a lot of videos, and some of them talk about, hey, here, drink this every day. And I see these. It'll cure your kidneys, fix your kidneys if you take these 5 fruits every week or something like that.
Yeah.
All that is fake. There are no supplements that are going to repair the physical damage to your kidneys. And we've had a few people ask some questions about supplements in the comments. Supplements are great when you have a deficiency in your diet. You're not getting something that you need, and your healthcare team will let you know which supplements you need. It may be fiber. It may be iron in some cases. It's not going to be some flour or herb or other concoction, especially something that says kidney. A lot of those have bad things in them that are hurting our kidneys, and it can accelerate the damage that we have. So there's no supplements out there. Someone had asked about Renadil. Renadil is a probiotic, so it doesn't directly help your kidneys, but what it can help is your gut health. And the way it is designed, it has special strands that consume things that when absorbed to our blood, our kidneys didn't have to get rid of it. They're waste products. So some of it gets consumed now in your gut. And when you when you go to the toilet, it passes some of that out. So not as much of it gets to your bloodstream. So you're kind of reducing some of the burden on your kidneys. But Renadil itself, I take it. It's something I believe in. A lot of renal dietitians also like it being part of a very good diet. It alone is
not a replacement.
Yeah, it alone is not going to undo bad decisions. It alone is not going to repair your kidneys or anything like that. It goes along with get that diet under control. Get to where you're eating right for your kidneys, and it can help with your gut health. That's just one more little tool added to help you reduce the stress and the burden you're placing on your kidneys so that you can improve your overall health. And when you improve your overall health, that's when you start to see your labs getting in place. And then you just focus on things like, hey, my potassium's too high, or in my case, my potassium's too low. And you just adjust your diet, working with your renal dietitian to kind of get those things all set. Be really careful going online and finding a diet and say, hey, this is a diet for me. That's not the diet for you. No matter which diet you go for, it needs to be tweaked for your lifestyle, your health, where your kidneys are. And that's where a renal dietitian is just priceless at helping you tweak those things. And if you may, be afraid to eat an avocado, a banana, to have anything with tomatoes because it has potassium in it. Potassium's not bad. It's too much potassium for you. And what is too much? Well, it's going to depend on each of us. And those are areas where a renal dietitian gets to open up all these foods and teach you about portion control and how to enjoy some avocado, how to work it into your diet. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there for those that are new, because I saw a lot of questions going by about those things. And here's another one I want to quickly jump on. And at the end, I always try to get as many of these answered as possible. A lot of focus on your creatinine, bringing it down. Creatinine is not a bad thing. It is a natural waste product created by our body, by our muscles, as we're breathing and living and just going through life. And as we age, muscle breaks down, there's more creatinine. It is used to estimate our kidney function. The creatinine itself is not the problem. And there is no food like, hey, eat this and your creatinine goes down. Even though you're going to find people saying it, that doesn't exist. But what can help is being healthier, being active, eating right. Your body, overall, your health can improve, and you may then see your creatinine lower and your estimated GFR increase. But be careful. It's easy to get kind of stuck on your creatinine. What is it? How can I get it lower? If I drink this tea, this person said it'll go lower. No, it's all fake.
No. And so the GFR, I think the GFR is like the long-term down the road kind of result. The creatinine, even further down the road, because the creatinine is that result of what the GFR is. So if your GFR improves, it can take care of creatinine better. So it comes after that improvement. So again, there's a lot of steps in this process. GFR way down the road, creatinine even farther. Creatinine is the last result that we have the least amount of control over when it comes to our life, our diet, our lifestyle, all of that kind of stuff. That is not really something that we can do too much with. Other things, our sodium, our potassium, our phosphorus, those are things that we have more control over.
Yeah. And when I was first diagnosed, I was so stuck on creatinine. And my doctor kept saying, James, give it up. Ignore creatinine. You're anemic. We need to work on that. Your potassium's too low. We got to work on that. Your phosphorus is too high. We need to work on those things. It took me a while to realize I can control those. My BUN, if it's too high, in 2 weeks, can get it lower by eating better, removing red meat and animal protein, more plant-based diet. That has a direct impact on my BUN, the blood urea nitrogen level. Creatinine, there's not a lot we can do, but if overall we're healthy, we're active, we're doing what we can to address all these other little things, that kind of pulls our creatinine into a better place for us, hopefully. But creatinine itself is not the problem. So it's just a measurement. It's something that's in the body that is fairly reliable for estimating your kidney function. It itself is not bad. But I just wanted to kind of address those, because I saw a few things going by and I was like, we won't be back on here till next week. And I didn't want people to set goals of, okay, here's my goal. My creatinine, I'm going to get it to 1.2 in 3 months.
Right. Again, is that something that you can just go, okay, creatinine, go? Like, no.
Nope, but I can get my sodium down. I can get my potassium right. I can get my phosphorus right. It's a little harder, but you can work if you're anemic. You can work on anemia. A lot of that for me, I was able to control mine with diet without any injections or any supplements like iron because it can constipate you. And I had a very bad constipation experience with a pill a long time ago, decades ago. One day I might share that story. I almost called 911. That's how bad it got.
Oh, oh, that's bad.
It was sad. You guys be rolling on the floor laughing though. So I'm always concerned about that. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of address those right there. Now, if people want to learn more about setting kidney smart goals and how to really get results, you have a blog on plant-powered kidneys. Boom, 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 right up here.
Yep.
Link to it in the description. It has what we talked about today and even more. And if you haven't, go over, find the Plant Powered Kidneys Facebook group and join it. It is a wonderful group. There's a few questions you got to answer so that we can make sure the bots aren't getting in there and running ads for all sorts of pills that don't do anything but hurt your kidneys or drain your wallet or both. But it's a great group, lots of supportive people in there, all sorts of great stuff. And we're at the top of the hour. I will be back for one more show before the end of the year on December 31st. An amazing guy named Dax. He's been on dialysis 10 years. He created his own clothing line. He's kind of like me. He took a situation that wasn't that great and turned it around and made it into something. He'll be here. He's also a motivational speaker on this Thursday, 2 days from now. And Jen and everyone else will be back here in 2021. So I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Stay safe out there. And actually, I'm going to go a few more moments longer. Do be very, very safe, everyone. Wear your mask. Social distance, wash your hands, do all those things. Earlier today, I had another friend of mine pass from COVID. And, it's a shame to see that happening. So please do be careful out there. I'm getting all choked up. Don't want to talk too much about it. But, it's heartbreaking when I hear about these people that I've known for so long. I've had great relationships. We've kind of been apart during COVID, and to hear that, how for some people it can, just has awful results. So everyone, please, please, please be safe. If you're thinking about going out on New Year's, stay home, celebrate yourself, do it virtually. I'm going to be home, pretend we're having a virtual celebration together, everybody. But I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. Sorry to be a downer here at the end of the call.
It's a good message, though. It's a good message to share.
Yeah, it's so easy to think, okay, it's okay. I don't really know anybody. In the last few months, I've known a lot of people. And of course, I'm a very friendly guy. When I travel for work, I get to know everyone. And they tend to remember me for some reason. I think it's because I'm very animated and outgoing and stuff. So I make lots and lots of friends. And in my industry, automotive, it's a very small industry. We get to know each other very well. And we're always seeing each other at the same industry events, or we're working with the same manufacturers. Even the competition, we get along great with each other. All right. I didn't want to make it a downer. I see a lot of, I'm sorry, things. It happens. Just everyone out there, please be safe. And think of, even, you're not just thinking of yourself. You're thinking of everyone that knows you. Be safe for them so that, they can see you once this all gets over and we're back traveling and visiting each other again. All right. I want to thank everyone for another great evening. Thank you so much, Jen. I'm going to set some good, smart goals for 2021.
Yes.
I'm going to lose some weight. I'm going to make it realistic. I'm going to get on that treadmill. I was on it this morning. I got mad at it. I think I got too smart of a treadmill, and I needed to get one that was more basic because it weighed me while I was on there and I didn't know it was going to do that. And I'm like, how do I get rid of this? My wife's going to see this number. How do I hide it? So I figured out how to factory reset it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure out a way around this, or let her get on it first. We might be sending it back and getting a different one, or have to get a his and a hers and not see each other's. All right, you have a great New Year's, Jen, and everyone out there have a great and safe New Year. And hopefully I'll see you guys on the 31st here with Dax. If not, we'll see you next week in the new year. Bye, everyone.